Welcome to Grab Load. I'm Anthony, and it is the announcement that Google Stadia is dead. Google has made the decision to wind down Google Stadia, and its last days will be in January 18th of 20, or it will be January 18th, 2023. So, if I remember, I'll link the video where I originally said I don't know if this is going to be one thing that Google's going to stick with. Uh, Google has a tendency of closing things down if they're not going as to plan, and that just creates a hesitation in people that people may not jump on board with it. So this seems to be going that same route, which is sad, right? All those people are going to lose their jobs. There was some, what I would have liked to seen is more game developers going towards Linux because that's what it was running on, and now that will no longer happen. So it is sad for that. But when you have a streaming service and certain people just don't want to deal with the latency, have issues with the latency, especially if they have a fast connection, that can be a downside. Plus, you're going into a market where even now, what was it? Amazon Luna's gaming service has gotten Assassin's Creed, where Stadia did not. You have Google's or Microsoft streaming service, which seems to be doing pretty well. I've tried that out. It's not something I play a lot with at all. And I think that there's other streaming services out there that seem to be, even NVIDIA's GeForce now seems to be doing pretty well. And that's where this project maybe fell short, is that these other ones, while they may be startups or everything else and may not know a strict future where they might go to, you kind of had a guess of where Google Stadia was going to go to based on Google's prior history of closing things down, and that's maybe where people maybe stayed clear. Hopefully that the people that do like the streaming service and were using it can find an alternative. Now, one great thing about this was that Google decided to refund all the money, except for I think the pro memberships. Other than that, you bought your games and stuff, they are refunding it. So that is a good move on Google. For those people that did spend the money to have those games and play them, at least they'll be able to get that money back and go buy them someplace else so they can continue to play them. So there is that aspect of it. But there was, this is one of those things where, yeah, it's died. It's kind of the Google, I don't know, 3 years in trying it and then get out. Happens to be almost like 3 years exactly, and now they decided to get out. 2019 is when the service launched. So, yeah, uh, it's sad to see, there Google did say that some of the technology they will be using elsewhere in the company. So that's a good thing, right? You don't want technology to go to waste. I'm a developer myself, and you never want to see your fruitions of what you worked on to thrown in the garbage can, because that never feels good. But at least it's going to be used elsewhere. So looking forward to see what else maybe these other streaming companies are going to use to differentiate themselves and continue to grow, and to see if maybe they fall on hard times too and maybe don't want to continue their services. But I could see something where more and more people, especially if you have a gaming PC, maybe want to stream off of that for short periods of time. So that's an option. And I was talking to a friend earlier, and we were texting back and forth, and he was mentioning we might be getting into more of a golden age here of gaming PCs. People might be reinvigorated to go into them. We were in maybe a dry spell a little bit with high GPU prices and everything else. Now, while Nvidia didn't do any favors with their new GPU pricing, and these CPUs, both from AMD and Intel, seem to be on the high end too, but you have a whole bunch of used products that will be hitting the market at some point in time, and that is when kind of the golden age starts. I remember, my first PCs, they were all used parts. They were all hand-me-down computers that I got to play with and get into gaming. And with the eBay, what it is, I know I just purchased a cheap gaming graphics card, or cheaper compared to what the price was. I paid $250 for 6700 XT. That could be the new area where if people want to get into gaming, they buy used parts and they're off to the races. So it will be interesting to see where this all goes to. You know, Stadia is done right now. It is what it is, and that's what Google decided to do, try to make them a leaner company, a more efficient company, and ending it was what they decided on. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what how this whole market kind of evolves. But Google will not be playing in it unless they decide to re-enter at a later date and time. So with that, let me know what your thoughts are. Were you one of those people that use Google Stadia? Were you one that's going to miss the streaming service? Or you're glad that maybe the companies can refocus on giving you um, maybe better hardware? One thing I really don't like is studios, right? That kind of aren't going to be here anymore, right? Google wanted to get into the gaming aspect of it, and that's kind of sad with the consolidation that we're seeing from Microsoft and Sony going after these companies. Another company with a gaming studio would have been really nice. We have Amazon, and maybe Amazon is willing to throw money at it for longer. I have more faith in Amazon doing that, throwing money at something that may not succeed than Google. Google usually gets out sooner than later. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for taking the time to help support Grow Alone, helping this channel grow. I really appreciate it. Until next time, God bless, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.